Welcome back, wood lovers. It's Tommy's Tonewoods. And today we are looking at a really beautiful domestic timber. This is Fraxinus Excelsior. That's right, it's European ash, mother lickers. And this was gifted to me by Virgil at Blind Guitars out in France. And he's an awesome builder. If you don't know his work, you gotta go check it out because he's a rad builder and a great guy too. So this is European ash. This is probably French ash. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And it is a fascinating timber. It's absolutely fascinating. Historically, this was used for pretty much everything. I think it's like the third most common timber. Certainly in the UK, it's found in woodland all across the UK. It's used as an ornamental tree in parkland. It's a beautiful tree, its timber is just remarkable. It's got a fantastic strength to weight ratio, but what's really cool about it is how elastic it is. So it's been used for everything from tools to furniture to even sporting equipment, such as the first tennis rackets were made out of ash because it wants to bend before it breaks. Morgan sports cars are still made with ash frames, I believe, in the traditional kind of coach building fashion. So unfortunately, ash is having a really hard time right now. It is under threat from two horrible critters. First of all, it's the emerald ash beetle, which is a boring beetle, which is just chomping its way through all of our ash trees. But more seriously, it's been affected by ash dieback disease, which you've probably heard of, which is a fungal infection which prevents water and nutrients from traveling up into the canopy, into the leaves. The leaves die back. The bark gets these lesions. It's just horrible, and you'll see it because you'll look up into the canopy of the tree and the crown will be really patchy. Some scientists are predicting that up to 95% of ash in the UK and throughout Europe will be decimated, which is just awful. So ash really is a precious timber these days. The folks at Royal Botanic Gardens Kew are doing some amazing work. They're studying the genomes of young ash trees to understand how they differ between healthy trees and trees that are susceptible to the ash dieback, to kind of understand the natural resistance that's already developing in ash trees with a view to cloning and to ultimately try and save our ash trees, because if the ash trees go, with them being the third most common woodland tree, it affects all sorts of things. Carbon sequestration, it affects the water cycle, the carbon cycle. It's a habitat. It's sad times for the ash trees, so really treasure them while we can. Ash is a really beautiful pale domestic timber. This is a really lovely example because we have the kind of typical very blonde timber that kind of spreads out here into these kind of pinkish hues. It's got some really lovely curl as well, so I imagine that this board came possibly from right down at the base of the trunk where it started to splay out and into the roots. It may have also come from, this may be kind of crotch figure where a branch is kind of sprouted out from the side of the tree. But either way, it's amazing. It's not super, it can be quite rare to get this kind of ripple figure. The side set has got a really lovely example of that. I absolutely love ash. It's a very commonly used timber, as I've said. You may often mistake it for oak in furniture, especially when it's been stained, but ash tends to be a lot lighter. Let's give this an almighty blast with the magic spray, because I think this is going to be Shiver Me Timbers fantastic. Yeah. Oh man, it's really gone a lovely pinky, creamy. Look at that. Yeah. Look at the ripple on it. That's such a cool colour. Just some nice subtle flamey flamescens on there. Yeah, cool. So what's this going to sound like as a guitar timbre? We'll give it a tap, and then you can see or you can hear what I'm hearing, which I have to say is not very much. There is a pleasing little ring, but it dissipates and dies away like instantly. And I think two things are causing that. One is the elasticity of the timbre. So it's almost like suspension on a car. That energy is just getting absorbed straight away. Also with ash, it's got a very open grain structure. So the energy is just getting completely absorbed. It's not traveling through the board. So what would I do with this for a guitar? I think I would, because it is so beautiful and it is such a precious timber these days, I think I would essentially try and take the back out of the equation. If you go back to a video I did on spalted maple, I talked about using a hybrid back where I actually laminated the spalted maple to some wenge. In this case, because this timber has a natural structure to it, I don't think I need to laminate it, but what I'll probably do is take it down very, very thin. So we have almost like a constructional veneer thickness, something very thin, and then reintroduce a ton of stiffness with a really lightweight lattice brace, or even some Nomex or something like this. So we end up having a beautiful skin that has a lot of stiffness to it, with a hope that it's not going to absorb energy. It's kind of, I guess, reflect energy in that kind of game of sonic ping pong between the top and the back. It's not going to be absorbing everything that's being passed to it. But I don't know, that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. I've never played a guitar made out of ash. I think the sound would be quite a fundamental. Those overtones are not going to be excited. I don't think we're going to be getting that kind of overtone rich signal from this ash. To give it the best chance of sounding complex, let's say, I think I would pair this with a really brittle European spruce top to give us the best chance of getting a complex tone from this potential guitar. There's a great book by Rob Penn. It's called The Man Who Made Things Out of Trees, and I highly recommend you go out and get it. It's beautifully written. Rob buys an ash log, and then saws it up and gives the timber to loads of different craftspeople to see what they can do with it. And it really is a lovely book, and it really pays homage to this beautiful, precious timber. So there we go. Thanks to Virgil again at Blind Guitars. This is just such a lovely gift, and I really can't wait to build with it. Just a reminder that the order books are now open for 2026. There's I think 2 more slots available. There's also a number of stock instruments coming through the workshop, some white label guitars. If you are interested, drop me an email, info@tomsandsguitars. You can also DM me or leave a comment. And let me know what you want to see next on Tommy's Tonewoods. Take care.